Ever wondered how statisticians make conclusions about populations using samples? Today we delve into the world of statistical testing, specifically two-sample tests and one-way ANOVA. In the realm of statistics, data analysis is a critical tool for making sense of numbers. Two common techniques that statisticians use are the two-sample tests and one-way ANOVA. These tests are fundamental for comparing data sets and making informed decisions. Now imagine you have two different groups of data. For instance, the heights of men and women. You want to determine if there's a significant difference between these two groups. This is where the two-sample tests come in handy. Two-sample tests, as the name suggests, are statistical procedures that compare two samples to see if they come from the same population. They can be used to test the equality of means, variances, or proportions. The two-sample t-test, for example, is often used to compare the means of two independent groups. It helps determine if the difference in means is statistically significant or just due to random chance. On the other hand, when you have more than two groups to compare, you need a more advanced technique, and that's where one-way ANOVA comes into play. One-way analysis of variance, or ANOVA, is a statistical method used to test the differences between the means of three or more independent groups. It does this by examining the variance within each group and comparing it to the variance between the groups. If the variance between the groups is significantly higher than the variance within the groups, then the means of these groups are likely different. Let's consider an example. Suppose we want to compare the average heights of people from three different countries. We collect a sample from each country and analyze the data using one-way ANOVA. If the variance between the countries' averages is significantly higher than the variance within each country's data, we can conclude that the average heights in these countries are different. So, in a nutshell, both two-sample tests and one-way ANOVA are statistical tools used to compare means across different groups. They help us make sense of the data by providing a scientific basis for making decisions. To summarize, we've learned that two-sample tests are used when we have two data sets, and we want to compare their means, variances, or proportions. We've also learned that when we have more than two data sets, one-way ANOVA is a more suitable tool as it compares the means of three or more groups. Both of these techniques are invaluable in data analysis, allowing us to draw conclusions and make decisions based on statistical evidence. Remember, mastering these statistical tests not only aids in research, but also enhances our ability to make data-driven decisions in everyday life. So next time you have a set of data to analyze, think about the two-sample tests and one-way ANOVA and make the numbers work for you.